Hello to a custom map cast over on the Seasonal Map Cup channel. For those of you who are new, this is Operation Infatuate, made for the new upcoming season of the Seasonal Map Cup with yours truly and Von Ivan. We have Creative Name and Finndeed testing this map out courteously for us. We have Finndeed in the West End on Creative on OST in the West End, running Blitzkrieg, Lightning War, and Mobile Defense with a 5% faster between shots, 2% faster between shots, and reload on his Grenadiers, and the increased FOSS range by 7%. Then we have Finndeed, who is running several things, but Instalock Advanced Warfare. He wants to see how those PPSHs feel on this map. It also gives him the T-3485 and the radio silence, intercept. And he is running the 3% increased accuracy with the 5% faster between shots on conscripts and the 7% increased snare range on the RPG 43 18-aid. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with the map, which should be pretty much the case for everybody, we have a master cutoff in the south and the north for both sides, with the fuels right outside of the base, munitions tucked up in the corner on each end, kitty-cornered from one another, and the VPs down the middle, as is pretty much standard all throughout. The minimap is a placeholder currently, so don't worry, it is hideous, but it will be updated soon as long as there's no huge changes to the map, and that's why we're testing. And for those of you who want a little bit of history on the map, Operation Infatuate, the name of the map, actually comes from a British operation along the Walcheren Island where they had a military inundation where they flooded this area with the seawater from bombing out the seawall, and that's why we have a bunch of flooded area down in the south. But we have a early MG42 Pio opening from Creative with one Grenadier, and then cons from Finndeed. And Creative Name going hard in the south area. He's going to try and find a place to set up this MG42. Conscripts behind their own sandbag wall, not interested in engaging the MG42 or those Pioneers. Going to lose that cutoff, so they're going to lose the territory point, munitions, and territory point. Combat Engineers probably not going to get too much damage off, even with a flank. Fourth conscript quad, yes, actually, a squad coming out on the east. Now, this is being paid forward by his opponent, Finndeed, for Creative Name, losing the north, so both players not access to those two territory points or their munitions, and that conscript squad snuck by the Grens, and now he's looking to take the master cut, the north and the south. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case, and I messed up my overlay. Pay attention to nothing. MG42 gets a suppression onto the cons before they are able to get all the way through the carcass of this building. Grenadiers moving around the south end of this destroyed section of housing. MG42 looking to sit here and engage this as well. Won't be able to get that pin off. Now, with the suppression coming off of the northern squad, he is going to move down and get the flank off here. And another conscript squad coming in from the southwest, and that's just going to have to go home. Grenadiers are going to as well. Pioneers coming in to pretend that they're going to deal damage, and rightfully so change their mind. He's going to go for the soft decap up in the north and try and take off all of the territory points. Oorah from Finndeed, realizing this, doesn't want to have to deal with it. Getting a little bit of damage done to those Pioneers, or by those Pioneers, dropping a model while they run up. Grenadiers coming in to tag them out. Grens on the southeast cutoff, finally being forced to retreat, but not before they wiped a conscript squad. So definitely a huge loss for Finndeed. Secondary squad of conscripts headed home, and combat engineers following in behind them. And there we go. Mine hit in the southwest cutoff. Creative eats a mine, a nice little TM35 from Finndeed already. And all the way up in the northwest, instead of harassing the cutoff, he goes straight for the munitions and is building himself some sandbags there to make it a little bit harder supplant him. Meanwhile, a Pioneer squad for Creative Name has a Flamengo Warfare 35. He's utilizing an attack ground here, and the shared vision from his Grenadiers trying to toast them up. He did get a little bit of damage. Nice cheeky play from Creative. Have a Grenadier squad headed home, finally reaching there, and he does have the option to tech, has not yet, so no light mechanized, and I doubt there's going to be any real play out of that from him. Flamengo Warfare squad taking a good amount of damage. MG42 sets up, but a huge movement from Finndeed to the southeast, and he's going all the way around this. And he's going to go ahead and get behind him. He has the URA to push this off. MG42 not wanting to deal with that either. And it was interesting to note that he dropped a model there, and then the retreat path changed. Flamengo Warfare Pioneer squad heading all the way home. Grenadier is going to cover the back end of the northern weakness of the MG42, but the MG42 is set up in the south where those conscript squads are going to come from. Another Pioneer squad that's going to have the hazard removal package, I am sure, is going to move up onto this now suppressed con squad. ROKS 3 combat engineers flame up the Grens, holding the lack of arc on the MG42. MG42 sets up looking at the middle VP. Not sure that's how Creative wants that to be. And the attack round from the ROKS 3 combat engineers being returned and emerge from the conscripts on the combat engineers to keep that flamethrower on the field a little bit longer. MG42 sets up the right way inside a crater, and this Grenadier is going to have to retreat home before it gets toasted up all the way. And he's still staying here. MG42 now in the range of the ROKS-3 is going to retreat it. Pioneer is going to try and force that off, but he does have the cutoff in the south. And while we're talking about all of this, Creative did manage to cut off the entire map, but nice movement on the retreat path here. He picks up that Grenadiers squad. He's looking for the MG42, but he positioned himself nicely, Finndeed, to pick up that retreating squad that was very, very low and overstayed its welcome. So despite this, neither player has any income. Both of them are completely cut off from the map from the other. Pioneer squad with a little bit of a treacherous retreat path, but conscripts not taking the time to stop and shoot at them as there is a chasing Flamengo Warfare Pioneer and the Grenadiers behind them. Flamengo Warfare going to waft in the Flamen on those conscripts behind that sandbag wall. Do a good amount of damage, but this Flamengo Warfare squad's getting really low. Those conscripts just have enough damage, and the Grenadiers not really doing too much to really push him off of there all the way that he would like. So almost the 3 CPs now for Finndeed. The PPSHs will start coming in at that point. He does not have enough munitions for any of them as of yet from the movement from both players getting those cutoffs taken away, but that is the first power spike, so to say, for those conscripts once they do get them utilized. And despite all of this, we do have the tank command going down for Finndeed. So tank battalion command, the tier 3. So the T-70 is on the horizon. And as of right now, we have just the infantry company built for Creative. He hasn't even teched to light mechanized yet, let alone support armor. So he's going to be a lot of trouble if he doesn't start teching soon. He's going to need to get teller mines down. Even so, Pioneers spot out the conscripts up in the north for that munitions direct contention, and conscripts get a little weak and just decide to head home. He doesn't really want to deal with this any more than he has to. That T-70 is not going to feel good when he gets that fuel. Pioneers actually win the engagement against those conscripts, mainly because they were able to get in behind them and at close range. And he's going for both cutoffs again. So he's going to set up in the north with the MG42 in the south. The south one's going to be a little bit harder to defend. I don't think he's actually going to win that engagement. So he's only going to be able to take the north. He's going to try and stay here a little too long, in my opinion, and potentially lose a few models. But now that he's got it soft decapped, he should hop to the other side so he's not cover negated. And that's what he does. MG42 covering the north munition or territory point. ROKS-3 attack running through that building carcass, trying to light up that MG42 that was applying the suppression on the conscripts on the fuel point. Flamengo Warfare squad was engaging them, now looking to trade fire blows with the combat engineers. MG42 setting up behind this house, gets that retreat from the conscript squad. A PM41 is a choice for Finndeed. He's going to try and just bully this MG42 on and away, and the first set of PPSHs are available on the conscripts. This giving a little bit of information to Creative what commander was locked in for Finndeed. PM41 fires the first shot, lands onto the Grenadiers that are decapping that fuel, so even if he does get all of his points back together, he's going to have to spend a lot of time standing on this fuel point to get it back under his control. This T-70 will put Finndeed right back on the map, though, but he has to get this fuel. Grenadiers with the MG42 and the Flammable Squad, conscripts with the PPSHs have to go home. And a Maxim now the choice for Finndeed. Creative applying some serious pressure on the Finndeed, honestly, with one of the weaker factions for this map so far. Playing it very well. Maxim going to move in to cover the advance in the middle area here. The PM41 could utilize smoke rounds to get the MG42 to go somewhere that it does not want to go. MG42 firing some shots on those conscripts. Pioneers in the north, get them out of there, and he's going to put down an S-mine field instead of the Teller. I mean, eventually, Finndeed will be able to get out of his base. Running down the negative cover here, drops a model immediately by those Grenadiers hanging out, and has to go down in between an alleyway, and then think about what he wants to do. MG42 moving over to potentially contest that. Maxim sneaking up behind these trees and crates in this old market section. PM41 hanging out on the road there. He could even throw down the flares to see what's going on, but this cheeky S-mine field, it's not going to feel good. Combat engineers and a conscript squad find them building those S-mines and sandbags. Pioneers adamant and finishing it, and then they just retreat, so they're going to go ahead and get out of there. MG42 now getting engaged on by the Maxim, or excuse me, Grenadiers. MG42 tanking a shot right onto the model of the MG42 for the PM41, and everything is going to go ahead and go home, and this is going to be Finndeed's chance to stabilize. Now, have we teched? We have, and we're into support armor for Creative, and he has locked in Lightning War, which I think is very strong with the G43s on this map, with all the fighting that you do on the move. Two sets of conscripts, though, with a PM41, even if the G43s and double vet, I doubt they win that engagement. And this is a nasty retreat path off of this north cutoff point on those RKS-3 combat engineers. And he only has one set of combat engineers, so no hazard removal package yet. So when he finally does find those, it is not going to feel nice. And another PM41 now for Finndeed. I'm wondering now if he feels like that the timing for the T-70 is too far out and gone, and he's just going to go straight into Tier 4 now. Ostwind the choice for Creative. G43 is still firing out, singing out to deal with the conscripts. Going to place down a TM35. That Grenadier squad is going to spot that. But Creative trying to put the pressure on and close out this game at the 12.5-minute mark with this Ostwind. And honestly, with the cutoff that he had applied to his opponent, it's going to be pretty effective, to be fair. And there's the Ostwind. Now, he does have the radio intercept, so he knows it's here. He knows the Ostwind is out and about. And we'll see what it decides to do. And where it's headed. Looks like it's headed up into the north quadrant of the map, where an engagement with combat engineers and conscript squad find a wipe on a Grenadier squad. So now the Ostwind's definitely looking for blood, and it goes from that down into the middle and starts shooting into the sandbag wall. It needs to run that over. Maxim's going to pick up and run away. Sandbags blocking every shot, as all green cover does. It has to be directionally negated even by vehicles, as it will typically eat all shots, and the Ostwind's just going to drive in the base, and there's no mines or anything here. He's building a Zis gun, but this is going to be a lot of damage on this Ostwind. And everything is grouped up. It's just shot after shot. Not feeling good. He's teching the RPG grenades now. He needs them. But the Ostwind's going to bleed so much manpower, and the whole of Finndeed's army is basically here. So Zis gun, where's it going to come out at? It's in the north. It's going to work its way up into this and then engage. Nades, he's going to be able to throw 2 sets of them. So he's going to throw 1, then 2. This gun looking for the shot. He doesn't go around the wall, so he's really praying that this shot hits. And it does. So this should be an immediate snare, and it is. So this Ostwind will go down, but the damage is going to be significant from it regardless. Already 10 kills on the thing. So much manpower bled, and forcing the Zis, forcing a tech, and the fuel that he doesn't want, and now he's going to sit behind the base. Another snare from this will kill it. He has enough. He should just chuck it onto there. To get that kill, the Zis gun has to shoot through its own base, and he's still continuing to bleed manpower. The PM41's even going, please, just die! Just die! I need you to die! And will he get it in time? He does. He gets it with a snare finally, and there it goes. Now, there was one whole lone squad all the way up in here. It did die from the looks of things. It was a combat engineer squad, got Flammen werfed out while he was focused on dealing with that Ostwind. Now, there is a conscript squad in the south, but he did get master cut again. So he has all these territory points that mean nothing. So just an all-in from Creative Name, just putting that pressure onto all of these resources again for Finndeed. And combat engineers built PM41s, trying to get him off of this south cutoff. More G43s. S-Mine field still up here in the north for Finndeed's own detriment. And this could be a dead Maxim if the rifle nade comes out. Nope, he's not going to fire it. G43s and the MG42 is enough. PM41's fighting the connection onto the MG42, and the flank from the conscript. He's going to try and follow down these pioneers, but apparently they've had a little too much vodka and not really finding any connections at all. PPSH just not doing the damage that they want. Zis gun, mission accomplished, going to be using itself to cap now, and he has to get him off of one of these cutoffs, and the Panzer IV now on the production line headed to the front for Creative. PM41's doing work, and the tripwire flare with the PPSH connection will drop the Grenadier squad that was on that South VP. He's going to oorah, hop into the building, but there's a Flammenwerfer squad there. He doesn't necessarily want to stay for that, and so he'll hop out the other end and then just retreat, and wise choice for sure. Conscript squad finally gets into that South cutoff, and the Maxim moving in to connect and hold that along with the conscripts. Flammenwerfer trying to get nice and close to it. Double PM41s. There's a lot of just damage from crew members here, though, and he's going to move away from it a little bit. Maxim getting bullied a little bit. PM41 totally fine with setting up here. And we do have the Tier 4 down, coming down now for Finndeed. So the Panzer IV is out, but Creative has lost a lot of manpower and just squads in general, despite this pressure being applied. I almost feel like he should start using relief infantry just to start filling up his reserves for squads on the field, because he is applying good pressure. But we'll see what this Panzer IV does. Fires a shot, misses wildly, and gets hit by a Zis gun immediately. Not a good first showing for the Panzer IV. MG42 really far forward. MG42 stolen now, and then decrewed immediately. PPSH cons retreating after they crewed that up. Even if when he retreated, he would go back into the base. So these S-mine fields still not doing a whole hell of a lot for Creative. Panzer IV moving into the south. Now, he knows he has snares. This is a little ambitious. He's just going to turn and snare that immediately. And now he is being protected by 2 sets of line of sight blockers. So the Zis gun's going to have a hard time really finding any good shots for this. It finally sets up in the middle, and Creative Name will just be like, all right, play peekaboo. And this allows the G43 Grenadiers to move up on this. So the Zis gun's going to have to go home, and the Panzer IV, even with the damage engine, is going to be able to hop on the road and head back to the base and get repaired up. It looks like we have a MG42 being taken back to base for Creative. Getting contested on his fuel, but everything for Finndeed is here. He's going to try and push him off. PPSH cons closing the distance. We'll get those G43 Grens to go home. Combat engineers with no upgrades, no hazard removal, or anything at the territory point. Up in the northeast, he's going to work his way over into the VP. Panzer IV being repaired. Not back at base. Eats another Zisgun shot. Attack ground. Even hits there. Very low on this Panzer IV, but he's not going to be able to stay with the G43 Grens and the Flammenwerfer Pioneers. Flammenwerfer Pioneers no longer interested in assaulting anything. We're going to go head back and help repair that. Maxim suppresses up the G43 Grens and eat a PM41 shot, and before he loses any manpower, he's going to go ahead and head home. Have we gotten to the Tier 4 tech yet? No, we have not. So no Tier 4 yet for Creative. He might just be saving up for a Tiger and wait for maybe a double Panzer IV and then into a Tiger, depending. I'd really like to see him use relief infantry, to be honest. Another Maxim now for Finndeed. He is all-inning on just stalling out this game. He's going to get some T-34-76 spam going momentarily once he gets that manpower and fuel. He's very, very close. PPSH cons get around the site blocker. Unfortunate engagement for Creative's Grenadiers, and they immediately leave. Combat Engineers, however, in a little bit of trouble, but those Grenadiers have to get out of there before those PPSH cons around the corner, and he knew that bait was coming, so he just retreats straight away. Nice heads-up play from Creative. Trying to push his way. Zisgun barrage. Gonna make short work of that MG42 along with two PM41s, and immediately picks up and runs away after losing one model. Pioneers in the south not winning any engagements or doing themselves any favors by trying to get that south VP. They do decap it momentarily, so 2 territory points and munitions is lost. But they take 2 models lost and take a good chunk of damage, and the PPSH cons will be able to go ahead and grab it up. Panzer IV now interested in dealing with the cons up in the northwest on the VP. Maxim was thinking about coming up to support them, but no longer wants to be here. And Conscript's just trying to waste some time, drop a model. He is snaring it, not quite enough damage. G43's shooting at it, and the Panzer IV will drop another model as those Conscripts head home. Meanwhile, in the middle, we do have a pinned and now retreating Conscript squad, courtesy of the MG42 and G43 Grens. Maxim setting up behind the sandbag wall to the east of that middle VP, and the PM41s are still singing out. I'd like to see him start using the flares. He really needs to start using flares if he had the munitions. But these PPSH cons and the Molotovs and the tank grenades not really helping him out in any way, amassing any munitions. Molotov thrown into the south house to get those Grenadiers to head home so he can go ahead and grab up that south VP. Panzer IV now working its way through the destroyed building, shoots the outhouse, and this time if he had the munitions for it he would snare and get that damage engine, but he doesn't have it, so he just retreats and drops 2 models for his trouble. Zisgun thinking about positioning here. It's going to set up on the road just to cover that. And there's a T-34-85, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed. Maxim walked through those S-mine field and sent home by the Grenadiers. PPSH cons coming up around the corner. They get spotted out from that movement from the PM41 and then walk right back into the PM41, and the conscripts are just going to be able to funnel all kinds of lead in the back of these Grenadiers. MD42 sets up to cover that soft retreat. He was trying to bait into it, and now the MD42 forced to go home because he did not get the suppression off in time. Good reaction for Finndeed. Now, he does have enough for the Tiger command point-wise, but nowhere near enough fuel or munitions. He's about 2 minutes out from being able to call the Tiger out. But there's the T-34-85, hits the field. VPs, however, in Creative Name's favor, just had superior map control over this game. He has about 100 VPs more. It's 392 to 284, 23 minutes in, and it's just been a slugfest. Panzer IV rolling up, trying to bully this Zisgun, but all of a sudden he was not anticipating the support of a T-34-85. The Zisgun finds a shot. T-34-85 just has to connect, and the Panzer IV gets ripped apart. Zisgun and T-34-85, just unfortunate timing for Creative Name to start pushing up into this, and he gets punished for it immediately, losing that Panzer IV. Now the T-34-85 is free to maraud across the map and maybe get a little bit of VP control, map control, in the favor of Finndeed now for the first time in almost 20 minutes. But Now more than ever, it's time to save for the Tiger. He is 40 manpower away. So we'll see what he does. That MG42 might be going down, and he's no longer interested, but the Tiger will be able to come out and play around with that T-34-85. Double vet Zis, though. There's that Tiger. And here it is. We'll see what the big cat wants to do. Should be a good time for Creative. T-34-85 headed back, trying to push off these Flamme Warfare 35 POs, and it will do that no problem with that shot dealing a huge chunk of damage. And then the AoE on the shell, even though it missed, hits the side of the building and drops a Pioneer. And the Tiger is here. Bad news bears for Finndeed. Very lucky that he picked up that Panzer IV, because dealing with both with his current lineup would be very hard. Maxim sprinting as fast as he can down the road. T-34-85. So, like, please stop. It's just a Maxim squad. And we'll find that shot. Where's that Zis gun at? Zis gun set up on the fuel and not going to find any shots. 85 did pen. The shot on the Zis gun hits that stone wall, and he's going to go ahead and back out. Zis gun shot did hit that time, but did not pen. 85 shot will pen, and where are the conscripts for the snare here? This Tiger is completely alone. Here comes some snares from the Panzerfaust on the Grenadiers. The T-34-85, however, finding the rear armor, and this Tiger has way overextended. He looked for the block, but didn't quite get it, and he will be able to back out of here. The 85 cannot pursue this. He's just going to get snared. And this Zis gun has not penned once. The 85 penning more and more and more, and there it goes. As this gun finally does pen, and this Tiger is going to have to head home. What a peculiar engagement. T-34-85 shot way off the money, misses entirely, but that point-blank barrage from the Zis gun annihilates that Grenadier squad, and he will lose it immediately. And this Tiger really wants to pick up this kill on this 85, but he's not going to be able to. Double Zis guns and the 85 being protected by this. He has to take this and send it home. Creative has just lost too much manpower. He needs to use a relief infantry and get some Ostrupen out, in my opinion. At least now he'd have an Ostrupen squad to help back him up for that loss. And Tiger backs up through the wreckage here. Where is he going with it? Guess back to base. Click down here, and now he's just reversing out. Must have been a shift click. So he clicked here and here on the mini-map and missed a little bit. But yeah, we'll go ahead and head on home. Creative names, map control, not looking good. And now we do have the IL-2 Sturmovik attack. Now, he could be saving up the munitions for the close air support. We'll see what he decides to do with it, but this Tiger is going to take forever to repair with one Pioneer squad. Hazard removal squads up in the north with an MG42. It might as well just head home. Got to repair this Tiger up. Another T-34-85 now for Finndeed, and that T-34-85 is very interested in engaging this. Tiger misses Zis gun on the retreat path for this 85, so it's just going to be free damage. If either of them hit each other, as of right now, everything is missed except for the final Zis gun shot does pen that Tiger's frontal armor. And now the 85 looks like it wants to go up and through the middle. And this is all with Creative Name deadlocking his opponent. Master cut off, no resources, and Finndeed is managing to make a bounce back. Second T-34-85 is out, and that's going to spell some serious trouble for Creative Name's any sort of manpower that he had. Conscripts. Oh no. This Tiger is going to go down. 85 is going to get sight blocked, but it's going to roll right through that line of sight of the Zis gun, and it has just a squeak of hate. HP left, and it does go down. Zis gun kills the out-of-control Tiger. 85 is going to be more than enough to push those Pioneers off if Creative Name hadn't thrown in the towel, and wisely so. And despite Creative Name moving across the map really well, pushing his opponent off the map, and arguably the stronger base from the feedback that we've gotten, Finndeed bounces back on this hardcore squad wipe after squad wipe from Creative Name and manages to pull the victory out from underneath Creative's feet. GG, well played to both players. What a fantastic game. That was very, very fun to cast. And for those of you either on the rerun or on YouTube, hope you enjoyed it as well. We'll catch you in the next one.